Okay guys, let's see how we can use vibe coding in order to create a sample website with nice functionality and a cart. Products, we can manage them as well as the categories. We have a cart, and when we add products to the cart, we have validation and a separate page showing that the order has been confirmed. Let's see how we can do this. Initially, I used Cursor for defining the backend and front-end part because it has been very reliable when defining the initial files and also looking through the context. For the corrections of the logic this time, the choice was GitHub Copilot with access to the whole code base inside of the Visual Studio Code Insiders. I was using the experimental Gemini Pro model. It's important to have a model that understands the context because we are speaking about two frameworks that they encompass a lot of files. Most importantly, I was not trying to pollute the chat buffer, so I was literally deleting not relevant questions and answers. For specific problems, I was orienting towards Google AI Studio using, again, Gemini experimental model. The minus of this approach is that you cannot supply that easily multiple files. So for this reason, I managed to use the experimental models inside of Visual Studio Code Insiders. In Cursor, I used mostly the agent mode, as it was quite well performing the different steps of code generation and tests. The rest of the queries were performed under ask mode. Errors can be pasted and asked for directly inside of GitHub Copilot, as it understands the whole code base. If this seems not enough for you for specific small code snippets, you can use the VS Code Edition Gemini Code Assist, but be careful to provide proper references to files and folders to the extension. Overall, I'm satisfied with the initially produced code. Although it was working, it needed quite a simplification in order to be more understandable and performant. Setting up rules for the AI helped a lot, and you can see here my specific rules. Then let's move to the Laravel and VueJS specifics. For code generation and bug fixes in Laravel, I used the Claude Sonnet model. It was quite good, though sometimes the generated code was using outdated Laravel versions, so you can prompt the version of Laravel you would like for the answers to be based upon. Another common thing for me was that I was using Docker and WSL, where the chatbot was not recognizing properly the environment, shell, and paths, which should be additionally prompted. Also, you can prepend or append commands to Artisan, in this case using Docker compose, so that you can execute the steps directly in the command prompt. About VueJS, this time I used queries uploading image screenshot of the code in order to instruct the robot to align the CSS content. While we didn't have effect, I see it as a promising feature. For the HTML and CSS, I was manually using the latest Gemini Pro model on each of the components that had to be refactored and optimized. Narrowing the code base to a couple of files gives more strength and power to the model. Because I was implementing a store, it was problematic, leading to duplicate logic inside of the components. But once giving ideas on where and where not to use it, the chatbot, and asking for suggestions and fixes, GitHub Copilot and Gemini did an outstanding job and fixed most of the problems. Particular CSS problems and glitches I managed to fix using the Gemini robot under Google AI Studio. Last but not least, I would like to show the prompt where you can really narrow the context. So, for example, fix the interaction between this Vue component and Laravel controller, and then specifying the names of the controllers and components or particular snippets from them. Such narrowings help the robots to produce quite reliable code. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the content. If you find it useful, you can subscribe to the channel. Thank you.